Okay, next little fault. Like a lot of big luxury cars, once they get past a few years old, the rear doors haven't been used very much. And when you open and close them, yeah, not only are they a bit tight, they're also squeaky. And that's not a luxury thing, a squeak. So what we're going to do is just replace the lithium grease that should be on this track. There. I'm just going to show you how this works. Now this white residue everywhere is lithium grease, which is good. But the fact that it's where it is means that somebody just squirted it around willy-nilly, not actually knowing how this works. So we have a hinge, and if you want you could put WD-40 on that, but lithium grease is a good idea. And this piece is actually what's going to do the work. And if you feel inside this little grommet, you feel that this has got two detents in it, little squeezed in elements. And what happens is inside here there's two rollers that pinch hard on this plastic piece, and as they go past the detent, the drop in it, the squeeze section, they momentarily hold the door, and that's what gives you your fully open, using this as a check strap, middle open, which stops it from bashing into other cars on a car park in a bit of a breeze, and then you defeat that and it opens or closes fully. That's what's doing the squeaking, is those squeezing fingers touching against this plastic, and it's a dry contact. Lithium grease is a good idea because lithium grease doesn't wash off, and this is an area subject to jet washing, rain and the elements, all that sort of good stuff, and it's literally being scraped clean all the time by these little pinch rollers. If you use WD-40 or similar, it will work, but it will eventually wash off. This will last a year or more. So, a bit of lithium grease, push your nozzle in against the side of this till you feel a bit of resistance, and the same on the other side. And for good measure, there's a groove in the top of this. Just push your nozzle along that and allow some to flow in, and that will get to the tops of the rollers. I'm going to put a little bit around here and in here, and I'm just going to wipe away the excess because it doesn't wash off. It is white and it will stay there for as long as you leave it. So me being the finicky sort of chap I am, I like that to look good. You can see lithium grease has also been used around hinges here and here, and it's a decent idea to just top that up now and again. But again, you want to wipe off the excess because it's not going to disappear. That's the point of this stuff. So let's get rid of anything I don't want. Again, it's been sprayed all over the doors, so that will get cleaned up. Probably not today because I need a brush. And then we'll try our door. So we should get a couple of dry movements. And there we go. In terms of feel, it's now a lot easier. The squeak's still there. So if you fish this out from behind the metalwork, just at the top, then you can get closer to the actual pinch mechanism, and we'll have a go at oiling up that. It's got a little felt opening into the mouth of it. That seems to have got it. That I'm more happy with. So we're just going to pop this back in. Tucks in behind the metalwork. Just locates on 2 bolts, well, on the heads of them, I should say. There we go. Okay, wipe the excess off. And we're in business. Oh, other door to do, but exactly the same. And that's called check strap, by the way. And they are replaceable. They can fail. This is plastic. That's not a bad thing. When they're metal, they corrode and then that wears out the mechanism that's holding it. As a plastic item, they are very robust, but occasionally you do find them broken because somebody slammed the door open hard enough to actually fracture these things. So BLU the XJ, like a lot of executive cars, actual ones rather than just ones that pretend to be, has double sealed doors. So there's this rubber seal on the door which makes contact with this area all the way around and seals the door. But inside there's another seal, and this one's very soft indeed, and this seal makes contact with this black extended interior trim. And that double seal, along with, in my case, double glazing, helps to keep down noise to an absolute minimal, as well as thermally insulating things. Now, these interior seals are almost always failed on XJ350s. There's a couple of reasons. One is, as you can see, the seat, and I'm reasonably average size, I would guess, is set up behind the B pillar. So to get into the car, you've kind of got to go around the B pillar. And as drivers get heavier, let's say, they're going to tend to lean on this post and sort of slide in rather than jump in like athletes. And that abrasion causes most of this damage. But another reason is that interior trim products that might be used on this get onto this and heavily degrade it. And that's generally silicone. So anything like Dash Black, Back to Black, Slick Black, I don't know all the names of them, but there's loads of silicone-based products out there, and they make a lovely job of making things shiny. But for really soft rubbers, urethanes, etc., they can really degrade them. So that is a combination of abrasion and being touched against a surface that's got silicone on it all the time. Now, unfortunately, that is an expensive seal and hard to get these days and getting rarer. I will be able to get one. I could buy one today for about £150. I don't want to spend £150 on a door seal on my £3,000 car. I will find one second hand at the right moment. A beautiful thing to know is the right and left are exactly the same. So it doesn't matter which side of the car you find one for. For the back doors, again, same, but remember, if you've got an XJL like mine, then a short wheelbase one is not going to cut it. The other thing is, it's not shaped. It is a single length, and it has a join, and that join is there. That is a trick I'm going to exploit in order to improve the look and feel of this until I can buy one that's a little bit more sensible in price. So what we're going to do is remove this trim piece here that covers the join. Plastic trim tools again, a good idea. It always looks like I'm advertising these. I'm really not. They're just really useful. So I'm getting my hooked plastic tool above the rubber seal, but under the plastic trim. There we go. And sliding it along, and you could hear, I hope, a couple of pops. And I'm going to go the carpet side. Do the same thing. Get it in there. Give it a little bit of a wriggle. I could have got one with a nice loop on the end. I've got something to give it a bit of a tug. And you can generally feel where the clips are because there's more resistance, and you want to tug more near the clips. Obviously reduces the chance of anything breaking. And now I've got some movement, I can go between that clip and plastic and that plastic, and the same at this end. Nearly off. Another clip here, I think. And we're away. And if I reveal, that's what it looks like on the other side. 1, 2, round peg, 3, 4 sort of fir tree style plastic mouldings that go into various elements along here. So it is literally just a case of pulling up hard. This is just basically trunking to cover the wiring up. Now with that removed, you see at the moment my split is here, and we're going to say that's 1 inch from the back edge of the step trim. And I'm just going to peel this off. It's only pushed into place, so there's no real problems removing it. Oh, the beauties of an aluminium car. You do this on a steel body car and you might find all sorts of nasties on this seam. Because steel, because lots of layers, and because welded joint. Oops. There, we're off. And here's where the bad part starts on my trim. About there, I'd say. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that level with the front edge of this. So that plastic trim that I've removed will cover it by about 2 centimetres. And all we're going to do is position it over the edge and push it down. We're not going to worry about getting this perfect. We're just positioning and pushing on. And what we want to do is just see where the front edge is going to land. we go, like that. There. So we've now got the join up here where it's mainly out of sight, whereas previously it was covered by the trim. It's a little bit of a witness mark, which I can probably get off with a stiff brush, but these have got a nicely cut edge so you can join relatively effectively. Now your problem with these things is, as I say, it's not shaped, but it will have held a lot of shape for being on the car in years, and when you refit it, it won't go around these curves quite as well as it would when new, and you'll end up with an overlap, and you do not want to cut this thing because it's the right length. So don't go that way and work it all the way around. Now grab your other end and pop your other end onto the join there. Okay, so that's going to look reasonably neat, and then work your way that way, and somewhere down here you'll probably have a bit of a wrinkle and you can even the whole thing out. Okay, so there's the really badly damaged bit. There's my join, and then there's what I was talking about, kind of the excess. So here's your big trick. Get yourself a rubber mallet or plastic mallet or something else that's not too damaging, and a sock. And what we're going to do is actually going to replicate what was done when these things were being fitted in a factory anyway. They use a nylon headed mallet, and it is round like a carpenter's mallet, but for what we're doing this is going to be absolutely fine. So pull a sock over the top of it. It's more about cleanliness than softness, if I'm honest. And if you pull the sock back up like so, effectively you've got a double layer of sock and it looks amazing. And then what we're going to do is, to get rid of the excess, you've basically just got to knock this thing into position. I'm using the side of the mallet because I've got a nice rounded surface there, which is ideal. And as I'm knocking, I'm pushing that way all the time. So I'm using up as much as I can of the length. Checking inside that this flange is covering over the A-pillar trim. If I exaggerate the action for you, you're not hitting it very hard because you don't want to damage the flocking. And we're going to come down here and basically do the same, but this time pushing that way. That's pulled a lot there now. That's actually, yeah, see that gap? It's lifted off. Away. Getting close to a more complex shape. There we go. And that's the last of the excess. It's come down dramatically. Come back to the top a little. And that's obviously going to go on. There we go. Almost as good as new. This join isn't perfect, hence why it is normally down here and hidden, but I think you'll agree it's worth it. So just got to reassemble this bit at the bottom. This plastic trim has a little hook just on this edge, so you want to go around this. There's a notch, and at the front first, once you're under that, it's pretty hard to get this wrong. Up. So obviously this is way less than perfect as a solution, because now I've got this tatty edge here. It'll contribute less to wind noise and rain because it's at the bottom, but it still looks ugly. It is a temporary fix until I obtain some good seals at a reasonable price. But it'd still be nice to have it looking a little prettier right now. So there's two tricks we could do. One is, if this genuinely was going to be a fix for keeps and I wasn't too fussed, I'd take the door seal off the passenger side, which gets a lot less abuse, and swap it for this side and vice versa, and that will work out just fine. But as I do genuinely intend to fix it, I'm just making the job for the other side. So I'm going to take this back off. So quickly put my trim tool under the ends. Does snap into place well. There we go. What we're going to do is a little temporary repair. So all I'm going to do for now is, where there's nothing missing, is a tiny bit of super glue to tack it back on. And it will actually look very decent in the areas where nothing's missing. Again, I'm using the Gorilla Glue super glue, not because it's an advert for them. It's literally what I've got in my drawer. But I'm using the thin one this time. Just literally a few seconds in light contact, and this stuff glues rather well. Try not to get it on the exposed surface that you can see, because the glue dries shinier than the very matte of the rubber. Mine's not going to be perfect, but it will look better than it does now. Obviously, if you're using super glue, be careful not to glue yourself to anything. At least with a seal like this, you'll just tear the seal. But anything else, it can be quite painful, ripping a piece of skin off to get back off. Super glue was actually invented as a surgical device for quick repair of internal wounds, so it was literally dreamt up with the idea of gluing human tissue. So don't be surprised when it grabs you. Where we've got missing trim is obviously not going to be successfully repaired, so I'm just putting a piece of tape over it, and that's just to stop things going inside the tube of the trim. There we go. There we go. Well, a long way from perfect, I know, but I'm sure you'll agree, aesthetically tolerable, until I find that elusive, cheap, good trim. Well, if you enjoy videos like these, then hopefully you're going to join us again really soon on To The Garage. Please subscribe, so that's the red banner that says subscribe on it on YouTube, and it gives the option of clicking a bell icon. If you click that as well, then the channel can give you notifications of when there's a new video out for you to watch. Blue is now going to get took out of the garage so that Purdy, the XK8, can come in and have some jobs done on her. But loads more to do on this one, and lots more running reports to come too. Plus a proper tour of the interior and all the many features, and some more of her many issues. See you soon, guys. Bye.